Friend, I would love to be able to pass this homemade pan sauce through the camera. I wish that existed, but it doesn't. So instead, I'm gonna teach you how to make the juiciest chicken ever. No more dry chicken at your house. We are pan roasting split chicken breasts and then making a homemade pan sauce in the same dish that we roasted the chicken in. We get all that amazing flavor from when the chicken is roasted, and then we're gonna turn that into a pan sauce or a gravy like you see here. Let's get started now. The oven is preheating to 450 degrees. We are going to brown these in the pot and then roast them in the oven. So we got to preheat the oven to that high temperature, and then I'm going to heat up a little bit of canola oil, probably about 2 tablespoons. I want to make sure the whole bottom of the pan is covered. This is an oven safe Dutch oven. You could use a stock pot, or you could brown and then transfer into a baking dish or a roasting pan. But I'm just gonna go ahead and roast it in this Dutch oven because it is oven safe and it's just one less thing to have to clean. So I'm gonna heat up this oil and I'm gonna get these open. I'm gonna use 2 of these for this pan. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna brown as much of the skin and the exposed chicken meat that we can, and then I'll do 1 at a time, and then we'll return them in here and then transfer the Dutch oven into the oven. So this oil is hot, and I'm gonna actually transfer this and flip it over so that the top of the breast and the skin, we're gonna do that first. I will flip it kind of on its side, if you will, and kind of almost like you're searing a beef roast, but we'll get as much of this browned as we can, and then we'll transfer to a plate back in here into the oven. And now we're really browning. I'm just kind of turning and trying to get as much of the edges of this browned. Of course, it's gonna continue to cook in the oven. I'm gonna flip it over, and then we're gonna go on to the next one. Okay, now we're gonna transfer the browned friend over here, and then we're gonna move on to the next one. Just sort of pressing it and moving it around a little bit. If a little bit sticks to the bottom of the pan, that's okay. We actually want that for later when we make the pan sauce. We want a little bit of that fond to be on the bottom of the pot. So that is a-okay. Just kind of twist around. There's not really sides necessarily to a split chicken breast like there would be a beef roast, but you definitely need to turn it and kind of angle it just a little bit to get the edges browned. Now that these are browned, I'm going to add this last one back in. I turn off the heat, and then I'm going to do a little bit of salt and pepper and probably a little garlic on top, and then we'll transfer this into the oven. All right, a little bit of seasoning. We don't need to add any liquid. The chicken will release a little liquid as it's cooking. A little garlic, a little salt, right on the skin and the chicken. And we're going to roast these at 450 until the meat thermometer reaches 160 degrees in the thickest part of the chicken breast. Make sure the meat thermometer is not touching bone. Of course, you can cut in and make sure that the chicken is not pink anywhere in that thickest part of the chicken breast. We have reached 160 in the meat thermometer. So we're just gonna transfer these out here. And I'm gonna make sure I want the juices and the fond that's in the bottom of this pot. I'm just gonna make sure there's not anything that shouldn't be there. Like here's a little piece of fat. I'm just gonna scoop those out. And then I'm gonna get my other ingredients ready. So I'm gonna use the fat and the fond and the seasoning that's in here already to make a simple pan gravy. So I'm gonna melt butter. I might squeeze in a touch of lemon, just a touch, not too much. A little flour and a little chicken stock. We'll whisk that up, let it simmer and bubble, and we'll have a delicious gravy to go with our split chicken breasts. The pan sauce, I want you to think with ingredients you already have. Pan sauces are super simple. You need a fat, which we already have fat. We're gonna add a little butter. You need a flour that's gonna be your thickener, and you need a liquid, which we're gonna use chicken stock. That's gonna be kind of our pan sauce in our gravy. You can make it as thick as you like. More liquid for thinner, less flour for thinner, vice versa. So you can work with it and make it work for how you want. If you want a thicker sauce or you want more of a thin gravy, however you like to do that. So we're gonna turn the heat on, and I'm gonna add in a couple of tablespoons of butter. I am gonna add just a touch of lemon because I need to use this lemon. I'm gonna squeeze it upside down. This isn't gonna change the liquid consistency. It's just gonna add a little brightness to the sauce. We're gonna let that butter melt. I'm gonna then use the rest of that lemon and put it in my disposal. Give it a little freshen up there. Give it a little clean, a little refresher. My flisk, you'll know I love my flisk. So this is a balloon whisk, and then you can twist it into a flat whisk. And I like to use a flat whisk for sauces like this. I'm gonna use it to scrape some of that flavor off the bottom. Get that to mix in with the butter before I add in the flour. So we're gonna add in the flour next. We're gonna use the whisk to turn that into essentially what is gonna be a paste. And then I will flip the flisk into the balloon whisk to whisk in the chicken stock. Now we're gonna pour, and I'm gonna whisk while pouring. And then we will let this simmer and thicken up. Oops, gotta get all that out of there. That's the trouble with bouillon base. Sometimes it tries to stay behind. And I'm gonna do a pinch of salt and pepper in there as well. So the pan sauce is done. Cody's right here. So I have my trusty ladle. Y'all know I love this guy. I like him because he's flexy, the flexi ladle. I'm just gonna pour this into a little gravy boat just to make it easier to serve and pour when we go to have this for dinner. This split chicken breast is the juiciest because of the way that we browned it and roasted it in the oven. This sauce is gonna be amazing. All you're gonna do is just pull or cut the chicken off of the bone, drizzle some sauce right over the top, and serve it with your favorite side dishes. This is gonna be great with roasted potatoes or sweet potatoes. It'll be great with carrots, with broccoli, a side salad, whatever your favorite vegetable side dishes are, go ahead and serve it with this amazing chicken. If you found this video helpful and you learned something new to try in your kitchen, please like this video. Also subscribe to our channel. We release new Learn to Cook on a Budget with Erin videos at noon every Wednesday, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.